Yep. So I'm Aubrey. I run hurdles. That is my main event and plan on running track in college. Yeah.
So what are give us some brags, Aubrey, because you have been very successful. You're humble, so we're gonna pull that out of you. So share some of your
Well,
accolades.
I don't know. I'm very humble when it comes to hurdles. I placed fifth in both hurdles last year and got fourth in the 4x4 relay with my team. And outside of volleyball, I also played basketball. I mean, not volleyball, sorry. I also played basketball and volleyball alongside track. So I'm always moving, always going. Yeah.
So when you say place, do you mean at the state
At state, yeah.
ish? But
Okay.
we're gonna have some more to pull out of the way these.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out yeah, I didn't know you were a three-sport athlete.
Yeah, I've told you that before, I
I
feel
didn't know
like.
you played volleyball. I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
know you
I
played
do.
basketball. I feel like I knew about volleyball, but not
Yeah,
basketball.
I opted out of basketball this year. I'm gonna run indoor with Storm because I want to go to college for track. So I was like, I'm done with basketball. I'm moving on to something that I want to do. And
And
here we are.
Okay. Now, and we were I think we initially had wanted you to be on the show because we were like, oh, she's a senior. And we thought we for some reason we had you a whole year ahead
mhm,
and what you were. We're
Yeah.
like, but she's just run the 400 hurdles for the first time. Look how
right.
good she did. So tell us about your experience running 400 hurdles. I know in high school they have them as 300s, but you seem to take to the 400 hurdles like it was like that was your jam.
Mhm,
Like you've been doing it for
mhm.
years.
Yes.
So tell us
Yeah,
a little bit
well,
about that experience.
Well, obviously in high school, you start out with the 100 hurdles, and I used to think that was my thing. And then we got older and people got better, and I was like, dang, like maybe it's not. And you guys introduced me to the 400 hurdles, and I feel like it's more of an open race, like anyone can win any lane because you have much longer time to run and you have more room for mistakes. And I honestly didn't think I was going to do as well as I did. So that was nice. And I actually enjoy it because most people don't. And so I like to say I like the 400 hurdles because not many people do. But
Yes, that's a rarity.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you
because
make
people
That
are
it
is a
look
like,
very
wait, you
rarity.
run
easy.
400 hurdles? And I'm like, yeah, I love it. Like, you guys should try it. And they're like, no, absolutely.
Well, and that goes back to being an all-around just tough person. You know, most people don't have they don't have the heart for it, to be honest. They're like, "Oh no. I mean, after I get past 100 hurdles, my heart might bust." But you know,
Mhm.
you're like, "Whatever, it's going to hurt. I'm ready for the hurt and I'm going to finish strong." And that was the thing that we saw like over the summer is like it was like a natural thing for you.
You were always focused, determined. You took initiative, which I mean, you are a natural born leader, especially as it relates to the storm. So we probably watch our athletes more than most think. So really have enjoyed working with you. Let's rewind a little bit, right? How did track and field come about, let alone the hurdles?
I have no idea. I knew I wanted to join the track team because everyone wanted to join the track team. Like that was a cool thing. I was like, okay, like I'll go. And obviously I already played two other sports. I was like, one more won't hurt. So I came out in sixth grade and they're like, okay, pick what you want to do. Like, what are you interested in? And about everyone goes to the 100-meter dash. And I was like, I don't want to run in a straight line. Like, what do you mean? So I went over to the hurdles and stuck with it and it worked out. So just stayed with it.
Uh,
Nice.
Shout out to not being afraid. That is a
Right.
fearless move for a sixth grader.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever done. So,
Really? Okay. Since you're not afraid, how many times have you fallen in the hurdles? I'm just
oh, well, I fell at practice one time and my coach was like, girls, stay away from her. You know, she's gonna be mad. I was not happy about that one. I fell in the 100 twice at invites. That was great. But, and then I fell in the 300s my sophomore year. I was winning my heat at state and I fell over the last hurdle and got some sympathy claps. And yep.
but again, it takes a different type of person to be able to get up and keep it moving and keep
Right,
coming back. And
Yeah.
like you said,
right.
you finished your sophomore year, you got the sympathy claps. If next year you have a medal, right?
Hmm.
So I
Right.
mean, that's kind of like part of it, the bounce back.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you have those rough races, how do you bounce back? How do you reset from that?
Well,
And
in the
in a
moment,
meet. Huh?
In the moment when I have a bad race, you'll know. Like I'll show it on my face. I'm not even gonna lie. And everyone knows. They're like, okay, stay away from Aubrey. But then I just think like you can't change it. Like it's in the past. And I just think about what I can improve on, like what was my downfall in that race, and I just work on that the next day.
Right. And and I mean, that's really important, right? As an athlete, you have other events, right? And so one small little tweak or something that doesn't go the way you wanted it, you got to have amnesia and shake
Mhm.
that off. So in moments where you're preparing for big competitions, how do you mentally prepare? You know, you've been on some very big platforms, some big stages. So how do you mentally prepare for those?
Well, if I know it's coming up, I visualize. I usually find out. I mean, I'm one of those people that will be on mile split looking who's going to be in my race. And I'm like, okay, so and so's going to be in it, so and so's going to be in it. And I visualize just myself, just running, just with the track ahead, nobody else. And then as it gets closer, I just try not to think about it because I know if I think about it too much, I'll overthink and I'll just get in my head. And I just show up the day of and run my race.
How do
What
you handle that pressure when it comes to those? Like you said, you get on and you'll see who's all in your race. How do you handle that pressure?
I don't even know. I mean, I know. I get up to that line and I'm like, dang, like they look good. But I'm just like, you're good. Like I have to trust my own training and be like, hey, I've worked for this. Like you're good enough to compete with them. And I just got on a run.
Well, you can tell you do a lot of positive self-reflection because probably as much as the other athletes are looking at you like, dang, they're good, you are locked in and in a zone. We have to start recording how you look because you are focused. Um, what do you feel are some of the main characteristics of a great athlete? Like, what makes you a great athlete?
I feel like a great athlete, they're gonna go and work even when they don't want to work. Like, oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm still gonna go out. I'm still gonna do the same training that I always do. And they're gonna know, like, hey, I'm good, but I'm not the best. There's always someone better. And so they're gonna keep working towards what's up there. And instead of like winning and losing, they'll be like, hey, a win is my PR, or I did what I wanted, what I told myself I wanted to do in practice. Like I fixed my arms, fixed my legs. Like they'll realize the little things are wins and not just going out and winning a race.
So you have a totally different reality in terms of what success is when it comes to track and field. And it's different from most sports because most sports are like, it's a W or an L.
Mm-hmm.
But with track, yeah, there's multiple winners, right? You've
Yeah.
had races where the top four have broken the world record, you know,
Right.
can't complain about that. I
Right.
mean,
A win's
if
a
you're that
win.
fourth person, but you want to, but by the same token, you know, it was great. What keeps you motivated during your training?
Yes, yes.
Just the long run, honestly. I'm just like, I can be good. Like I know I have that potential. So, and I've seen like all these great athletes, like they're putting in all the work. So I'm like, if I put in the work, I'll be great. So
Mhm.
I just stay motivated, so I'll be good.
So, Aubrey, what does success look like for you in track and field?
Reaching my potential, honestly, because I know I have a lot of it. I know there's a lot of places that I can improve, and I just want to see how far I can go.
Mhm. How do you handle feedback
Feedback.
that the coaches give
I
you? Yeah.
feel like, and like specifically with hurdles, I'm open to everything. They're like, oh, try this with your arms, try this with your legs, like switch your blocks. I'll do it all. Like whatever you think is gonna work, I will do it.
Yes. No, that is very true. We know that firsthand.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, that'll work. Okay.
Well, I was
You
just
go.
I was thinking, we know you're good. So we know how you compete. And I know some college is going to pick you up. And one of the things that I think college coaches look at is they say everybody who's going to come to college, they're going to work hard. What do you think is going to set you apart from everybody else who just works hard?
Well, I've been told that by a coach that I have a chip on my shoulder, which may come off as bad, but I think it's like I know that I can be better. And they like people that know that they can get better instead of just coming in like
Mhm,
I'm the best. Like I know that I'm not going to be the best when I go into college.
mhm.
And I'm there to work. I'm there to get better, whether it be the top of their team or just better for myself.
What would you say makes you a good teammate?
You'll catch me on the track, running around the track, yelling at everyone. I will watch the mile. I will watch, and nobody likes to watch the mile, but I will watch the mile. After someone's done running, I'll run up, be like, oh my gosh, she's so good. Like, good job. Like, is that like, I'll ask them, like, that PR? Like, I'm everywhere on the track, always talking to people, always encouraging people. Like, even if they don't do their best, I'm like, hey, it's okay. Like, you'll do better next time. Like, lifting people up.
Yeah, it's always great to have a great athlete who pours into their teammates. So that's a great characteristic to have. With your successes and with this journey as a triathlete, how have your parents supported you along this journey?
They're at everything. They took me to everything when I couldn't drive. Like I don't think my mom has ever missed anything. Like she is at
Yeah.
every one of my games for volleyball or basketball. She's at every track meet out in the snow. I wouldn't show up for myself if I was her. Like if it's that cold outside, I would not show up. But she does. My little brother's even there. Like they're all there. So
Oh,
I'm always that athlete that has the section of the matching t-shirts. Like that is my family. So
you gotta you gotta shout out mom. What's your mom's name? We gotta give her some love.
yeah, shout out Stephanie Thompson, my mother.
Gotta love mom.
Cool. Now, switching gears just a touch. What's your perspective on the importance of like academics, being a student athlete, balancing your life with all that, and then the social life of a high school athlete?
Yeah, well, I've always been told you're a student athlete. My mom has made that clear, student athlete. So obviously, if it comes down to I have this big academic thing and I have this athletic thing, I will make sure to get the academics done first. If you don't have good grades, you can't do sports. That's in my brain. That is how I think. And in the end, academics are gonna take me through life. I need to know all the stuff to have a job, all that. So definitely academics over athletics. And then social life, just anywhere I can fit it in, just whenever.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've had to sacrifice? You talk about your social life and you get it in where you fit in. Like, what sacrifices do you feel you've had to make as an?
Well, I've had to make some sacrifices with like interfering like at big athletic events. Like, oh, like you have track. Well, yeah, I have track. Like I'm trying to be better. Like I'm trying to be an athlete. And most everyone like accepts that. And most of my friends are through my sports. So they're with me anyways. So it doesn't really interfere that much, but
That's good. You have a group of people who understand.
Right. That's always good. Because of that, so the social thing isn't an issue, obviously. But what do you think are you going to be able to take with you from some of your sporting events in terms of into life? Like what values, what, experiences, what do you think you can pull over into to real life later on?
well, I think that the idea of like power in numbers, like you can't do everything on your own. You're gonna have to ask for help. You're gonna have to surround yourself with people who can help you, who have the same like motives. And obviously you're gonna have to work for what you want because that comes from sports. So
What's the best piece of advice you've been given
Yeah,
thus far?
yeah, yeah. For the young Aubreys out there who want to do a hurdle starting in sixth grade.
just go with your heart, honestly. Like most people will look at a hurdle and be like, no. I just first thing that came to mind, like go out there. So I did.
Mhm. If you could change one thing about track and field, what would it be and why?
Probably, that's a hard one. I don't know. Just like whenever you think of track and field, it's like very competitive, and I feel like it shouldn't be as competitive as it is. Like if that makes sense. Like people, oh, everyone wants to be the best,
Mhm.
and I think it gets to people sometimes, and they start overthinking it, and it just becomes a hassle rather than a sport, and they don't really enjoy it because they're always working, they're always doing this, and I think it should just be more fun.
So, how do you maintain your health, avoiding any injuries? How do you navigate that?
I've always had knee problems. And hurdles, jumping, basketball, all of that combined is not good. But usually I can tell when I need to stop. Like I know when I'm overdoing it, I'll take a few days off and I'll just come back better. So honestly, when I know I'm at that limit, I'll just stop for a little bit.
I never knew that. Well, I'm just saying I never picked up on any like knee issues or anything.
Oh
But
yeah,
No,
it's all the time.
it's well,
All
no,
the
you
she
handle
doesn't
it
let
very
on.
well. You do, because
Yeah.
it's clearly you work through it and this it's not an issue. And I've never even seen it turn up in a race, so I haven't.
time. Mm.
Mm.
You're
Well,
good at.
tell us a little bit about who's your biggest inspiration when it comes to track and field.
Well, I mean, I'm a hurdler, so I gotta say Sydney McLaughlin. She's just a power force. She is great, and she knows she's good, but she doesn't go out and flaunt it like, wow, like I'm the best out there. And I like how she has a good life track balance, and she's not just, oh, eat, sleep, track all the time. So I like
Mhm.
that she has a life outside of track.
Have you watched that Sprint show on
I
Netflix?
have not.
Oh yeah, I heard it's
I
really
need
good.
to. I started it a while ago, but I never got into it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some of the personalities, I'll say that. just
Yeah.
I won't spoil it for you, but yeah. What's your perspective on winning and losing?
Well, like I said earlier, I feel like winning and losing is different in track than it is in other sports. Like team sports, you go out and you win the game or you lose the game. But I feel like with track, there's more little things that you yourself, since it's an individual sport, you're like, oh, like I need to do this. Oh, wait, I did it. Like that's a win. Or like I got a PR, like that's a win. Rather than just going out and winning the race out of nine people in your heat. Like, oh, I didn't win the race, but I snap down quicker. I got a better block star. Like I think that's a win rather than just going out and winning a race.
So, Aubrey, you've shared with us some great successes, some great experiences. How do you celebrate? What does that look like? What has that looked like?
I mean, I'm humble. I don't really, I mean, I'm excited in the moment, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I just got fifth this day, guys. Like, I don't know. Like in the
Do
moment,
you
I'm
have
just
a favorite
excited.
food, a favorite?
I'll eat whatever.
Um,
After track me, I will eat any food. As long as we go out to eat afterwards, I will eat anything.
Hmm. Okay.
we're over there cringing, like, what food?
Well, that's kind of my jam. Talking about people's nutrition and helping them out there. So, yes. And you're gonna one day that will become more important for you. So
Yeah.
it's okay. I'll let you do what you need to do right now. With hurdles, hurdles is a technical event. How does technology play a role or not in terms of helping you with hurdles?
Well, with my coaches, I haven't really been given much technique. And then I come to you guys and you point it out, and I'm just like, wait, that like actually works. Like I try it in the races, and I'm like, I need to do this all the time. So I obviously plays a big part, like the snapping, the arms, like everything just has to be like on point, I feel like. And I just need to get the hang of it, honestly. I feel like it plays a big part into it though. But I've been successful without it. But I can be a lot better with it because my arms are definitely rough. I don't have the perfect running form, but it would sure help.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yes, so small little tweak.
Yeah.
What's your hope for this season?
I mean, the end goal, obviously,
Yes.
everybody's going to say this, but I want to win state. Um, I'm coming in ranked first in the 60, 100, and 300. So I just want to have a good season all the way through. And our regional is actually getting switched to
Oh,
like whatever the one with Fishers and Brownsburg. They're like
oh,
splitting that one up. And Franklin Community is getting thrown in there somewhere. So that'll definitely be a challenge. So I just want to run well from the start instead of just
oh,
building up to state. I want to start strong and get better.
oh. We're excited for
I'm
this
excited.
season.
Yeah, I mean that's good stuff. What's your favorite part of being part of a team? I know you said you ran a relay, you do your individual events. What's your favorite part?
Well, I like going out on the track by myself, finishing across the line, and having the team just be like, "Oh my gosh, like good job!" Like I like having the words of affirmation, like, and I just like being surrounded by people who all want the same thing as me to do good in their sport. So,
Awesome. How do you, this is my last question, sorry. How do you balance your personal goals with your team goals, right? So you mentioned having your team ready for you across the line. So how do you balance that?
well, when I'm going out, like most of the time, my goals are for the 100 hurdles because it's more like technical. So whenever I go out to run that, I usually have more goals for myself. Like before the race, when I'm warming up, I'm thinking about those goals. And like if one of my teammates comes over or something, like I'll talk with them, like I'll unlock or whatever. But and then throughout my whole race, I'm thinking of it. I cross the line, I think of those goals, and say I'm about to run the 4x1 or the 4x4, I will push it to the side and I will start thinking about that and what's best for the team. And then later I'll think about my single events again and what I want.
Right, that's good. Yes.
Wonderful. Aubrey, we're so happy to have you on here.
Yes.
It
Good
just
to hear. Good to hear.
Yes,
it only took us
absolutely.
every episode.
Forever,
So
every
now,
day, every week.
uh, well, cool. So if people were to follow you, follow along this journey for you to your state title, where should they look for you at?
On Instagram, Aubrey.Runyon, my name, easy enough. And then on Twitter, Aubrey0901. You can see me on both.
All right.
Awesome. We are excited for this year.
I know.
Doing
Well,
my happy dance in the chair.
I know. It happened. It happened.
It
And
happened.
Well, thank
Yes,
you again for joining us.
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
we look
yes,
forward to the season for sure.
yes.
Yep.
Indoor and
I'll
outdoor.
see y'all in indoor. So
Yes.